Here we go. Hello, my friends. It's Ranger Russ from the Meigs Nature Center. Very excited today because I'm doing another one of my favorite animals. Before we get into that, I want to let everybody know that all of the Connecticut State Parks, most of Connecticut State Parks, are open to the public. There may be some that close due to capacity, so please check before you head out to your local state park. And we do encourage people to wear masks and keep social distance, one or the other or both. Both preferable if you can't keep social distance, then you definitely need a mask. So, the Nature Center is still closed, so you can't come and visit us, but I do have an animal, a new animal to the Nature Center. We have new resident animals that just came to us from the Department of Energy and Environmental Protection Wildlife Division. So we work with them quite a bit in our education and outreach, and they reached out to us because they had some of my favorite animal that could not be released into the wild. So, do we have enough anticipation before we see what the animal is? We have a brand new, we actually have a couple of them, snapping turtle. How cool is this? Now, snapping turtles are very common across Connecticut. It's one of our longer lived turtles. These guys can live over 100 years. In captivity, they expect to live longer than that. The record for a snapping turtle in the state of Connecticut weighed 45 pounds. But there are bigger turtles out there. That's just the confirmed record. The record for a common snapping turtle, which this one is, was 75 pounds. So imagine the size of a 75-pound turtle. It would take up this whole space. I'm going to let it walk around a little bit. This whole area would be taken up by a 75-pound snapping turtle. Now, snapping turtles are a little bit more aggressive than other turtles, but they have a really good reason for that. Take a look at its plastron. It only covers the belly. The legs are exposed on the sides. It's exposed here. If this turtle got turned upside down, it would be very simple for a predator to eat it. Now, there aren't a lot of predators for an adult snapping turtle. It would have to be something large like a coyote or a bear to really get an adult snapping turtle. The smaller turtles are eaten by everything. Fish eat them, raccoons eat them, lots of things eat them. Actually, it's been recorded, and I think this has only been recorded in Canada, but otters, river otters, in the winter will go and dig them up. They bury themselves in the mud for hibernation, and the otters will dig them out of there if they can find them and eat them in the middle of the winter. So we'll talk more about hibernation in a little bit. Now, these turtles can lay about 80 eggs would be the max, but typically it's going to be 30 to 50 eggs. Their eggs are round. It's the only turtle in Connecticut that has a round ping pong ball kind of egg rather than an oval egg. All the other ones lay oval eggs. And this one, we don't know exactly how old it is. We've had it for a few years, or the DEP has had it for a few years. And what happened was this was a confiscation. They actually confiscated 27 of these turtles. And because they were bigger and no one had any idea where they came from, they decided that it would be better not to release them into the wild. So they went to, I think, the Norwalk Maritime, took them in, and has had them for a few years. But now they're starting to get bigger and they need to find homes for them, more permanent homes. So I was able to take 3 as new permanent residents to our big turtle tank that's in our new building. So we have new resident snapping turtles. Now, because these turtles have been hand raised, they're not as aggressive as other turtles. They could still bite. If they get annoyed, it could still take a snap at me. They do have sort of a hooked beak. I don't know if you can see that. It is a beak. Their beak is made of the same material as your fingernails. So if you rub two of your fingernails together, that would be what the beak felt like. Now, snapping turtles do give off sort of a rotting smell. And this one right now, I can smell just a little bit like it's a little stinky, but that's just another one of their defenses. It helps them not taste so good. Occasionally, we will find them from the wild that have parasites like leeches growing on them. So we'll pluck the leeches off. But in most cases, you want these turtles to be in the wild. Snapping turtles don't necessarily make good pets. Again, they get very large, so you want to be really careful about keeping them as pets because they can do some damage to you, again, if you bother them. The snapping turtle also, it's the only turtle in the state of Connecticut that has that great big giant tail. Looks like a dinosaur tail or an alligator tail. Okay, so if you see a long tail like that, you're going to know it's a snapping turtle. But also, you see how far this tail stretches back? The head can stretch out just as far in the other direction. So you want to be really careful about this turtle's range. They typically aren't going to get you if you're up like, oh, did you see that? It just did a little flick of its head. That's sort of it snapping. There you go. It's showing me that it's not happy with my finger being up here, but it can't get my finger there. There's that flinch again. They have a very quick snap back where they reach back and try and snap you. And that again is defense. These turtles, to us, or to the turtle, we appear to be giant predators. Just something big that's looking to eat them. So they have to defend themselves. All right. Now, yesterday these turtles came to us, but yesterday we also had other turtles come to us. And I am going to show you, we had someone bring in 15 baby snapping turtles. Okay? These were probably just emerging out of their nest when they were found. Okay? And now we have 15 little tiny snapping turtles. But we're not going to keep them. I know right where these turtles came from, and we will bring them back and let them go right in the same area where they were, and that way they will be able to grow up in the habitat that they were meant to grow up in. They do not want to stay on camera. They all go right to the edges, don't they? Hopefully you guys can see how cute they are. Again, when I'm in the camera, it doesn't really want to focus on the turtle. Let's get over here. Okay, so let's talk about hibernation. So these turtles, they are going to hibernate. They will go down to the mud. They will bury themselves in the mud. And for their hibernation, they may not breathe for up to 6 months. They do something called extrapulmonary respiration, where they will bury themselves in the mud. If the pond freezes over, there's no way for them to breathe. So they will stick their head out of the mud and exchange the gases that have built up in their blood through their mouth, and their throat will exchange those gases. So that's extrapulmonary respiration. I bet you that will be on our vocabulary list on our website. It would be on the Virtual Learning Center at meigspointnaturecenter.org. So make sure you visit, and you will see this video and other information about snapping turtles. And you can see all of our other videos. So I'm also asking everyone to sign up for our YouTube channel. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. When we get 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, we will be able to do these programs on YouTube Live as well as Facebook Live. So we may be doing 2 programs a day. I had to reduce the numbers of them. There's 15 of these little guys, and they're hard to keep track of when they just head to the edges. So they all seem to be heading the same direction, which is away from me, which is a good thing. Now, snapping turtles will lay their eggs up to 2 miles away from where the parents live. So the female will leave the water. She will cruise out until she finds the right place to lay her eggs. The right place means the soil is right. Can't be too moist, can't be too dry, can't be too sandy or too rocky. When they find the right hole, they will lay their eggs. Again, up to 80 eggs. Now, when the eggs hatch, the eggs could remain the first winter in the nest, and they live off their yolk sac. And if you look at that little dot on the belly, that's where the yolk sac was on this turtle. They can take the nutrients off of that and survive the first winter. Some of them will come out of the ground, head to water. They might get a meal, but chances are they're going to go down into the bottom of the mud and bury themselves and begin their first hibernation. So when we find turtles, it's okay to help them, but you really want to help them in the direction that they're going. Again, if the female goes 2 miles away, when the babies come out, they can smell water, and they're going to go to water. It might be the water that their parents came from, or it might be another body of water. Now, these turtles can live in brackish water as well. If the water is a little bit salty, that's okay for snapping turtles. Most of Connecticut turtles don't like salt water. So this is one, and then we have the diamondback terrapins. They also will go to salt water. If we see one in the road, how do we safely move it? Great question. The first thing I'm going to tell you, with a turtle any bigger than this, and I wouldn't even do it with this one, you don't want to pick them up by their tails. They are a heavy turtle, and their tails can't hold that weight. What I would suggest, especially if you're in a car, you have a floor mat in your car, you take the mat over, you put it right up against the turtle, slide them onto the mat, just use your foot, slide them onto the mat, and then slide the entire turtle off the road using the mat. It's the best way, I would say, to do it. You can pick them up. You can pick them up by their sides, but if you do, their little legs are going to be pushing on you, and since they have sharp claws, it might be a little bit hard to hold on to them. But that way, and then you can also pick them up behind from the front and the back. Again, you saw the bigger one. They can't really bite you if you're picking them up this way. They can't get their head up into that position to bite you. Let me show you with the big one again. Let me put these little guys back. Okay. So if you found a great big giant one, you pick them up like this, and you can carry them around. Okay. Even though it feels like your finger is right in a place where it can get bit, it actually can't, because its nose is going to hit you before its beak can get onto you. So this is a good way to pick them up. All right. So you're saying it's hard to see them when they're scurrying around. They are black, and the surface here is black. Maybe I should have got a white towel or something to put down here. But I'll hold them up so you can see them. They are super cute. Now, they eat just about everything in the water that they live in. So they can live in large lakes, rivers, ponds. They need enough food, so they're not going to go into a small pond. You might find a small one in a small pond, but it's not going to stay there. Once it realizes there's not enough food, it's going to move on and try and find a more permanent place. But they will eat invertebrates like insects, tadpoles, frogs, if they can catch some fish. They are omnivores, so they will eat the plants that are in fresh water as well. And again, we went over some of the predators. The smaller ones, everything likes to eat them. Birds will eat them. Owls will eat them. Frogs will eat a small snapping turtle. But when they get bigger, then they're starting to eat all of those things. So a big one could eat a frog. This guy was hiding in the corner. How cute is that? He was hanging out in the corner. Now, right now, if you look, the tail is longer than the carapace. The carapace is the shell on the back of the turtle. So when they're little hatchlings, that tail is longer than the carapace. As they get larger, you're going to notice that the tail isn't quite as long as the carapace, and the bigger they get, that tail proportionally will get smaller. It doesn't actually get smaller, it just appears to be smaller compared to its body. All right, do we have any other questions? I'm not seeing any questions right now. I want to remind everyone that we will be doing these programs every Tuesday through Friday at 11 o'clock. Look for a special program this evening. I'm hoping that I'll be able to set it up, but I'm going to be doing a nighttime insect program. We're going to try and attract some insects. And this is actually a lot of fun because I don't know a lot about nighttime insects. I encounter insects during the day. It's really hard to find them at night. I've done this program with someone else once before, so let's hope it works out. But this is an opportunity to show you what kind of creepy crawlies are out there after dark. So really excited for that. So look for that after sunset, which I'm not sure what time sunset is this evening. I think it's around 8 o'clock. So I'll start that program as soon as it's dark enough that we start attracting insects. And I'll do a setup program a little bit before and show you how this program is done and how you can attract insects as well. Although I know a lot of people don't like them. We used to catch them at Patton Brook Dairy. Okay, near Durham Street. All right. So if you guys have any questions, make sure you put them up, and we ask you to put up where you're messaging from. If you're not watching this live, you can put up your questions as well, and we will try and answer them, or you can message us through Facebook or through our website. You can access us through both. The website also has connections to other DEP facilities like Dinosaur State Park, Kellogg Environmental Center, Goodwin Conservation Center. You can learn about No Child Left Inside and the Great Park Pursuit and Sky's the Limit and lots of other things that happen through the Department of Energy and Environmental Protection, which is who I work for. All right, do I have anything else that I can tell you about them? Their size, oh, here's something. It takes them 9 years for a female and 7 years for a male before they're mature. So in 9 years, if this is a female, in 9 years it will be able to lay eggs. 7 years to have babies for a male. So very interesting that it takes a long time. Now this is a long-lived turtle, 100 years. 80 to 100 is what they typically say. That is a long time for a turtle to live. So that's why it takes them a long time to mature. So let's see, Betty's brother became a trapper. So in the state of Connecticut, it used to be an open season on snapping turtles. It is no longer an open season. There is a licensing and season process that you do have to follow now in the state of Connecticut to help preserve and protect them. How long do they live? I hope you just heard. 80 to 100 years is how long they live. There's a little bit of a delay between me seeing the questions, so I might answer them just before they actually pop up. All right. We talked about hibernation. Breeding season is the springtime, starts in April. May start a little earlier depending on the weather, or a little later, again depending on the weather. Hibernation starts October to November, and they'll go to March to April, or even May sometimes, but that's again if we're really having a cold spring. So their hibernation and their breeding season is really dependent on the weather. So if it's a really cold, long winter, they're going to hibernate longer than they would if it were a warmer winter. It just makes sense. Oh, trapping beaver in Maine. That's interesting. Okay, let's put this one back. Now, there always is a possibility that a small turtle like this get eaten by a bigger turtle like this. They are not too picky about their food, so it happens sometimes where an adult might cannibalize a baby. Just moved to Killingworth from Los Angeles. Excellent to learn about the reptiles here. Very cool. And again, I'm going to encourage you, if you haven't seen our other videos, I think we're over 150 videos now, and many of them are about the wildlife of Connecticut. And wild habitats of Connecticut as well. All right, before I go, I want to give a shout out to the Girl Scouts of America, because tomorrow I'm going to be doing 2 programs for the Girl Scouts. We're going to be doing a salt marsh program and a beach seining program for the Girl Scouts. Very excited. We're going to do it in a Zoom platform so that they can ask questions and do some interaction. If you are interested in having a program done through Zoom or another social media platform, please contact us. You can contact us on the website, meigspointnaturecenter.org, and we'll try and set something up where we can do a program like this for you or your group or your school. I'd like to do more classes. All right, I'm not seeing any questions. You can see this turtle is completely chilled out right now. Before, when I was handling it, it got a little upset when my hand was too close to its head. Again, this is a good way to pick them up. The bottom is the plastron, only covers the center. They've got soft around. The top is the carapace. You can pick them up by their sides, but those claws would be able to reach and push. You have to hold on a little bit, and it can hurt. Those bigger turtles do have sharp claws. They've got a sharp, aggressive beak, and you want to stay away from this area. They can reach out pretty far, so you want to give them plenty of distance around them. We're going to do our best to keep handling this turtle like this so that when it gets big and more scary, we'll still be able to handle it for programs. I would love this turtle to be here for the next 80 years doing programs for people long after I retire. All right. It's so cute though. Look at that face. Let's see some thumbs up if you think, or hearts if you think that's a cute face. I know a lot of people they just don't like snapping turtles just because they're snappy. But I think snapping turtles are pretty awesome. He's just looking out at everybody. Okay. So again, these programs happen Tuesday through Friday at 11 o'clock. So next week, I'm actually going to be going on a little short vacation. So I'll be doing the programs Tuesday and Wednesday, and then Thursday and Friday. If I can find a good place to do a program, I'll do it from my vacation. If not, I'm going to miss all of you, and we'll get you the following week. Again, if you are a teacher and you're looking to have a program about a specific unit that you're working on, please let us know. We can try and accommodate you. Or look through our videos. You can find them on our YouTube channel, and you can use those in your classroom if you would like. All right. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Again, please get out and visit Connecticut state parks. You're not more than 15 minutes from a state park in Connecticut, so make sure you enjoy them. And I will see you hopefully this evening, planning on around 8 o'clock, live nighttime insect program. I have no idea what we're going to find, so this is going to be a brand new thing for everyone. Thank you again, and I will see you this evening.